All right, for any of you looking for a gripping dystopian thriller, look no further because local author Ralph DeFalco is here to tell us about his new release, The Counterfeit. Thank you for being here, sir.
David, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, I promise you. So tell us about The Counterfeit.
The Counterfeit is a geopolitical thriller. It takes place in the days soon to come.
Oh.
When after the United States has been defeated in the Pacific War with China.
No!
Yes, defeated in the Pacific War against China. The nation is vanquished and bankrupted.
Oh!
Yes, and Beijing is planning to make its puppet the next U.S. president.
Oh, no!
Yeah, but
okay,
ordinary Americans and former military officers are fighting back.
Okay, so why did you write The Counterfeit?
Well, I wrote The Counterfeit because I'd been writing nonfiction for many years.
Okay.
And writing fiction gives you some more running room to do things that you can't do with nonfiction.
Absolutely.
And also it's because my wife challenged me to write a novel. I was getting ready to retire from the military. She said, "What are you going to do with all your free time?" I said, "Well, I'm going to write a novel." She said, "That's great. When are you going to start?" I said, "Well, I'll do it now." So I wrote chapter 1 that weekend.
Right on.
I gave it to her. She took it. She said, "Great. Where's chapter 2?" And that's how it started.
That sounds about right.
That's
yeah.
how it started.
Okay, so how much of The Counterfeit is based on real-world events?
Oh, there's a great deal of real-world activity wrapped into the pages of The Counterfeit.
Okay.
There's also a number of historical incidents that play into the novel as well.
Okay.
And it's probably very unusual. I'm maybe one of a handful of novelists who actually writes chapter notes. So as you're reading the novel, you refer to the back of the book, you'll find chapter notes that reference the historical incidents that are talked about in the novel.
That's really cool. I like that. That's very neat. Okay, so talk about the challenges, right? So what was your biggest challenge writing the book?
As a nonfiction author, you generally have a body of work that's already existing that you draw from. Mm-hmm. As a fiction writer, you create everything from scratch.
Right.
And the biggest challenge, I think, in doing that was to create characters. Real, believable characters. None of the characters in The Counterfeit jump out of airplanes without parachutes to land into snowbanks and survive. None of them, go into firefights with, big machine guns.
It's not Mission
blazing.
Impossible.
No, it's not. Definitely not Mission Impossible. Instead, these are characters that face real-world challenges. They have doubts. They have fears. They talk about their doubts and fears in the book. And I think that's part of what creates the authenticity that's in the novel.
All right, so how did your career as an intelligence officer, which thank you for your service, by the way, influence the writing of The Counterfeit?
I think as an intelligence officer, what you learn is you learn to take disparate facts and pull them together to make a cohesive whole. Mm-hmm. And part of what I learned as an intelligence officer structured the novel. The other thing that helped structure this novel was my knowledge of various intelligence methods and sources. So you will find references to intelligence methods and sources in the novel, and the characters will play out their parts as intelligence analysts, as signals intelligence analysts. That's all wrapped into the novel.
Wow, that sounds really, really cool. I've always been fascinated with like intelligence and stuff like that, like it's CIA things, naval intelligence officers. I have a few friends who have done that for a career. Listen, the stuff that you got into is wild, man. You have had an amazing career. So, hey, let me ask you something. Where can we go to find the book? Where do we go to purchase it, and where do we learn?
Well, I always tell people, please go to your local bookshop first and ask for a copy of The Counterfeit.
Okay.
Your local bookstores are standing on the front lines of freedom. Go there first. And you can also find it on bookshop.org, and of course you can get a copy on Amazon.
That's awesome. Thank you so very much, Ralph.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
It sounds amazingly cool. All right, guys.